It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
Okay, I'm going to call you out on this. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, intro music. Did you listen to last week's podcast to know what the intro music is?
No.
Rise.
Welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. Not the best, but the most consistent. It's our new tagline.
We'll be here every week, whether you like it or not.
You can listen to us or you can't.
And a lot of you don't. It's Tuesday, so that means that we are the Baking It Down podcast with a group on Facebook called Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. We've got a lot of new members because Corrie opened the floodgates. So welcome.
If you have answered the questions correctly, not looking for decorating ideas or how to make royal icing, I have let you in.
And as such, we get to see questions and comments and stuff posted in that group, usually after midnight when we all asleep, that we can bring to this podcast each week.
Yes, that you can listen to while you're baking, while you're sourdough baking.
You have abandoned sugar cookies.
Dived
and divin head first.
Mouth open into the world of sourdough.
I think, and I was thinking about it, the obsession comes from the fact it's a pet. And it's like loving.
I'm a proud parent when it pops out the oven. A lot of peas. Proud parent when it pops out the popping oven, the piping hot oven.
So Corrie has left us for sourdough, but it's like, okay, cats fun to look at, don't like us, but we like them because it's our job to keep them alive, and their indifference towards us it's like
There's
a battered wife.
Symbol to bread baking. That's what I've learned.
Oh.
If you have a boule, which I looked, it's boule, not boulet. I like boulet better. When you make a boulet in your crumb reed.
Crumb what?
Crumb reed.
Reed, R-E-A-D?
Yeah. Huh. Can I get a crumb reed on this?
Oh, no way. That sounds way too intense.
From your crumb shot.
Your crumb what?
Crumb shot. A picture of your crumb.
Shot?
Crumb shot is what you call it.
And then you get
Can I get a crumb reed on my crumb shot?
It's like airplanes doing speeches. Oh, wow. Anyways, us over on planet Earth, we're going to talk about a question that was asked in the Cookie College about the Monday morning marketing meeting with the miracles.
That's a lot of M's to go with my P's.
You just call it Every Monday we have the
meeting.
So
the thing is, though, you say I don't talk enough.
I love it.
I love to bring some words to the plate.
Go ahead.
The problem with being a solopreneur, single baker.
Can I get a crumb read?
Crumb reads. You had to crumb read yourself. It's hard to get focused and get on the same page because you're just talking to yourself most of the time. Yeah. You're thinking to yourself, you're talking to yourself, but a lot of times there's no one to hold you accountable. Be like, did you do this? Did you get this done? I do have a built-in one, unfortunately, for the last 35 years. Her name is Heather.
Oh, did you get that done? Can I get a crumb read?
So what we're going to give you is kind of like a template that you can actually go over yourself. And it's nice to start off your Mondays with a morning meeting.
So this is a framework. It's not ours. It's got some buzzwords here. I do like the framework. I was dating a guy. Got rid of the guy. Kept the framework.
He was good for one thing. The framework.
I may date stupid people, but I'm not stupid. It was the EOS Level 10 meeting agenda.
Level 10?
Mm-hmm.
It's crumb read.
It's a crumb read. It's the entrepreneurial operating system Level 10 meeting agenda.
That's a lot of
I didn't come up with it, so I can't change it.
That's a lot for
I'm going to call it the We got the coming up. That's going to be the podcast title, just a bunch of M's. People are going to listen to it because they're like, I got to know. And then they're going to get trapped in this boring topic.
To this boring topic.
Okay, so Corrie and I this is a framework, but you can template it out and build off your own version of it, which is what Corrie and I have done. I think we've been having this for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a great way to check in with yourself. It would be awesome if you could find an accountability buddy, even if it's a baker in states away, where you two could meet with this framework each Monday.
Could you just text it to them?
No, it's supposed to be conversed. Verbal. Yeah. And it has to be at the same time each week. So the frequency is weekly and it's the same time and it can never exceed 90 minutes.
Thank God.
I know. I was like, yeah, people are like, no worries here.
Sorry, I don't work. I'm just a meeting maker.
I got all day. So, but the framework is built down by time slots. That's why it's 90 minutes. So the check-in, this is the framework I did not build. Check-in is start with a win to get your team in a winning and positive habit. Countless studies have shown that positive mindsets can take your team a very, very long way. A winning start helps place everyone's mindset in a winning one. The wins can be personal and professional as long as it generates positivity and a winning atmosphere. So Corrie and I did it changes a little bit. We have wins and losses because I like the gossip side of stuff. So what's one good thing business, and then what's one good thing personal? Then the gossipy side. What's one bad thing business? What's one bad thing personal?
And that's where I talk about my husband.
Nate. Nate too this week. So in that one, you can kind of get, and the reason why I kind of like starting with that question is you kind of get a vibe where people's mental mindset is. So if somebody's in a real negative mood, guess what the meeting's going to be?
It's going to be pretty on the neggy side.
Yeah. So you can say like, oh my goodness, she had a rough weekend. This is going to be a rough week. Or you can just say, oh, everyone had a good week. This is probably going to set the tempo. Now I know this check-in that they suggest is all positive. But I don't know. How am I going to gossip about lunch?
I think though, until you can get like a positive mindset, maybe take off the negative side. I think a lot of times when we wake up, we have a weekend and then you wake up, you see a bazillion emails, your bills hit your bank account. It can put you in a negative headspace. And
a great example of that is the reason why we don't allow negative type threads in the group is because it sets the tempo for the rest of the week. The entire group is this kind of like hive mind that becomes really negative set.
And you have people that are like teetering between like,
should I have a good week or a bad week?
And those posts and that mindset can take you down where now, like if you want to see only negative things, you will only see negative things.
Absolutely. So we'll say advanced level is you can add in the negative things. Let me look at what Corey's negative things. Oh, the last week, the bad personal says the weight ain't changing.
Man, the sourdough journey is a journey for my weight and for myself.
And your bad business just says doldrums. The doldrums of summer. The sad J months. So that is that check-in. It's 5 minutes. It's just kind of a debrief, kind of where your mental mindset is. But like Corrie said, I agree. Keep it positive until you got a system going, and then you can kind of be like, oh, what else happened? Go on.
I would say even the smallest things can be wins. Yeah. I found eggs on sale. It doesn't have to be. Huge win. None of me and Heather, what we talk about each week is groundbreaking.
What was mine?
Literally nothing is.
Oh, my aunt's coming back so she can distract my grandmother. That's my good win.
Right. But so you can have little things to just put you in the right headspace and mindset to have a good week.
I agree. So that check-in, only 5 minutes. And it's a nice little icebreaker. Yeah. Right? So imagine if you're having this meeting with yourself, it's still something to go through each one of these steps because the biggest important part of this is you have to write this stuff down. So Corrie and I restart this document every year, but by the end of the year, this document will be, I don't know, probably 200 pages. I'm using giant typeface too, so I can say I got color coded now. It's gotten really streamlined, but every week we can kind of check in. So this is now we're going to get into the kind of meat and potatoes. Again, this is only 5 minutes, the scorecard update, and it's looking at a company's 3 to 5 key metrics and check in on how the organization is doing regarding these metrics. So we check in. So it's like we're talking about the Cookie College. We're going to talk about memberships. We're going to talk about membership retention. We're going to talk about content drops and the receptivity of what people, how they say.
So let's break it down into what a baker would do.
Okay. I would say probably a most important metric for me as a baker would be leads generated and leads converted. Probably even pickups.
What's the title of this section?
Scorecard update.
So that's just saying where you are right now.
So how many leads did I get this week?
Yeah.
How many sales did I make this week? Well, I would have to throw in what's the average price per sale.
Okay.
And then you could even throw in your social media metrics if you want a scorecard metric.
It's good to keep track
of that's your lead gen. Yeah.
Numbers.
You can do social media, and also if you have a website, you can do web traffic because that's all indicative of how your marketing is faring.
I will almost say even track how many posts went up this week.
That's
so if you see growth in your conversions and maybe you posted a few extra times this week, you can kind of
correlate the two. Yeah. It says this is only 5 minutes that are allocated. Therefore, no issues or comments should be highlighted here. It's just the metrics. This is just a rundown of the metrics of how you're doing. Issues and comments will be addressed in the issues portion of the meeting.
Nice.
So the scorecard update, and Corrie and I do the scorecard update make sure that we understand the doldrums are the doldrums. But it's just saying, here's where the numbers are, here's where they were last week. So I actually create a comparison of last week to this week, and we just every week compare the week prior.
One thing me and Heather wish we could have gone back and done in any of the business that we started is to have kept track at the beginning so you know exactly how much your growth is. So often we get this kind of tunnel vision, like I haven't felt any growth. But growth doesn't have to be astronomical. It can be incremental.
Growth you can be, so we've been doing the Cookie College since 2021, right? So I didn't have these metrics written down then. So I started in 2022. 2023, 2024. Now, Corrie and I will go back 2 years to see what the trend was, because not only are we trying to grow the company, we're also fighting seasonality and economical? Is that right?
Go ahead.
Economical factors. And so even though you're like, oh no, we may be shrinking, or maybe our sales are slow, it may not be slow in relation to this time last year. It may just be a slow part of your season. So you can't, say, well, I have bad marketing or the industry's dead when the whole industry slows. Yeah. This would be the doldrums of our industry.
Yeah, but I will say when it comes, if we even break it down into bakers, so the folks listening here, instead of like a business, you can see, like, you could say my Easter sales were poo-poo, right? But if you look back last year, there was such a gap between the holidays that you'd be like, okay, I understand that maybe it wasn't even on me. It was that everything was jam-packed into the same month.
Yeah.
And it was on the calendar.
I feel like when people lead by, I feel like my sales are low, they're using correlation and causation. Like they're saying, well, the economy's bad, so I made no sales, but people are still buying BMW. So I think it could be right, but I need to have more proof than I feel like. Or I feel like there's more competition, or I feel like feeling is really hard. Numbers don't lie. Percentage kind of do, but your feelings always are biased.
They are biased, and I can say, like, if you weren't in, let's say if last year you were in 2 community groups, and this year you might be in 12.
You're seeing a lot more competition.
A lot more competition that had always been there. You just weren't there to see it.
So it looks like market saturation, when in reality, you're part of that saturation. The people who were there, like, they joined. So the scorecard update, you're going to find key metrics, and you're going to track those over a long period of time. So Corrie and I have set of metrics that I picked and she just follows along with. But I'll report on those. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I think I'm going to start, like, for a long time I didn't track the main group's membership numbers, people in the group members. But then I thought, you know what, I think that'll be an interesting metric if I need a reference if the group starts shrinking. Is that a seasonal thing, or are we just putting out crap content?
Yeah.
So I add those things, these metrics where I'm like, oh, that would be a good thing. Like something I'm not tracking now, but I should, is probably web traffic.
Yeah.
So. Oh, there's a man outside.
For what? Oh, yeah, I saw. He's a long guy.
Oh, he's a long gone guy. Okay. The third, this is again, so 5 minutes for check-in, 5 minutes for the scorecard. And I'll send this out. I'll send out this template in the Wednesday newsletter. And so you guys can scroll past it trying to find the transfer sheet of the week. The ROC update, again, only 5 minutes. ROCs are the main quarterly goals or projects the organization is focused on for that particular quarter. Go through the ROCs to check in on how the organization's doing in respect to your ROCs. Are you on track or are you off track? Again, no issues or comments should be discussed here. It's only 5 minutes. Save the comments and the issues for this section later on comments and issues.
So quarterly, there's 4 quarters in a year.
I like having quarterly goals.
Quarterly goals are good unless you're me and Heather, which we save. We talk about the goal and then they're due.
We're always like, put it in quarter 1. I think it'd be a better job for quarter 2. Quarter 3 is looking real good for this.
But you know that the busy season when it comes to your bakery is Q4 or quarter 4. That's when you have all the major holidays coming, all the cookie classes that fill themselves up come in quarter 4. So you know in Q2 is where you start doing.
So that Q4 you can read.
Absolutely. So Q2 is like no one's necessarily looking for sugar cookies, bakes, because it's no prominent holidays. You have like a July 4th.
The word you're looking for is doldrum.
Yeah, the doldrums. So Q2 is the best time to get your website up and running.
That's what Corrie and I are working on.
A site audit.
To refresh a lot of, like, sometimes I'll go into the caverns of old copy and be like, that's no longer right.
To have someone who's not in the industry to go over your website. We in the industry, this is what I say. We in the industry know what Eddie is. But Eddie, unfortunately,
Corrie loves to say, people talk about Eddie to their audience, and their audience is probably like, that is their affair partner. They love them so
much. No one
Eddie
understands that Eddie is a printer.
And like, I think it's kind of hard. It's funny that Eddie Primaris Printer, which we'll talk about because they're a sponsor, but their brand is the best boyfriend you'll ever have, which is funny, but it makes no sense in regards to printing on food.
Yeah.
It's just I think what they're saying is he's reliable and versatile. But when we see bakers turn around and be like, I got an Eddie, he's my best boyfriend I ever had. People are like, how's your husband Ted doing? Are you guys getting divorced?
So it's using those instead of being like, yeah, we print on an Eddie. Like someone be like, who's this gentleman? I didn't know you had a worker.
Right. Same with like, I got a bamboo. No, to the regular world, I got a 3D printer and it allows me to custom print cookie cutters for your custom event.
When you're and I will say marketing specifically has such buzzwords in there.
I mean, look at we're just speaking in acronyms this whole podcast.
Funnels,
crumb read.
That we get so stuck in there because we see those words all the time that people who are not in this industry don't understand it. Dry
even
time.
DIY kits.
Yeah, DIY. I'm like, that is
15-second flood.
Yeah.
What?
The macronage process.
Yeah. It's really crazy when you take industry. But then, why are we even talking about this? The rocks?
It's saying during Q2, have someone edit your post, your website to make sure that when Q4 comes around, you're not losing sales because someone's stuck at your affair partner.
Yeah. I would go as far as like storyboarding, using like a diagram to say like, what is your customer flow? Mm-hmm. Like, where do they enter? By the time they exit, what are they receiving? What is your autoresponder? What is your autoresponder on Facebook messages, Instagram messages? What is your autoresponder on Facebook outside of your working hours?
The number one, if you're listening to this, the number one thing you guys are not doing is unpinning things from the top of your Facebook page.
And I would like to defend the people who don't unpin.
Sure.
The mobile apps do not tell you that it's pinned.
But listen,
you have to do it on computer.
My mobile app shows me that you are ready for football season.
When I see pinned for 2022, I'm booked for December. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh no, that is sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
Because you're booked. Sometimes you guys sign up for the Wednesday newsletter, which I love, but your autoresponders flood me. 15-second flood. My inbox saying like, I wouldn't necessarily have an autoresponder on all the time, like some of you do. Because
we literally talked about it last week.
Yeah, but you can. There's a Gmail. There's a Gmail filter where you can have them go into a certain way and get a certain response. Not every Wednesday newsletter. Again, I have to delete 10 emails every week. I'm no longer monitoring this inbox. You signed up for the Wednesday newsletter. But yeah, go through that. So the rock. So some rocks Corrie and I are working on is by the end of Q2. By the beginning of Q3, we wanted to have a template library, so we're working on that. And then Corrie wanted to do some sourdough thing.
Yeah, and as a baker, Q2, get my website up and going.
Yeah, and then Vendy Blendy, I can't believe we're already talking about it, but Corrie and I are vendors as well. Have everything ready to go by the end of, well, it has to be ready by the end of Q3, so I'd like to have it done by the beginning of Q3. So that's when we think of rocks. And Corrie and I will have like our weekly task, our monthly goals, and then our quarterly like rock.
The thing you don't want to do is coast through Q2. It's not a busy time in your bakery. It's not a busy time in the industry.
You got that vacation coming up.
Yeah, so you put it on the back burner because it's just not the forefront of your mind. And then Q3 and Q4
You don't have time. I want you to, if everyone can say out loud, I do not have time in Q4, so I will not plan things for then.
But that's not the time you want to lose the sales is Q3 and Q4.
Don't open your mun bin the day before Christmas. Like the mun, I was telling Corrie because she comes in and the mun bin is all set up on the floor because I didn't put it on a table. So I was printing off some stuff. And I said, the mun bin, to print off a label on the mun bin, you got to have 5 bumps. You have to have 5 mun bin bumps in you that to overcome to get a print. But a lot of people quit at the first bump. Like you don't want to be getting into your mun bin and having Christmas orders coming in.
Then you like run to the post. It's 11 at night. You've pulled out you've used 24 stickers and there's like just over.
Oh no, that's a guarantee. Every time you turn on your mun bin, you're going to waste 24 stickers.
I hear when you turn the mun bin on, you waste 2.
Immediately. But someone said you can back 2 out. Like it waste 2, back 2 out, then it'll print on 1. I've never been able to not waste 1.
Really?
Yeah, like you got to tell your computer 3 different places. You got to pray to the mun bin god. Please print this vertically and not horizontally.
I guess it's part of the sacrificial like, 1 sticker.
No, it's a sacrificial 24. I like hadn't used a mun bin in a while because I didn't want to cry. Yeah. So I turned it on and I was like printing off a label.
Is the mun bin good or is the mun bin bad?
It's like your husband. When he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he's worse. The problem with the mun bin is if you make one mistake,
Wait, what's
it
the
prints
mistake?
Because you have to tell it the orientation of this. So right now, all your computer in 3 different places. No, it thinks it's 8.5 by 11. So imagine
8.5 by 11.
Yeah, so your computer says to the mun bin, I want you to print off on an 8.5 by 11 strip of stickers.
Control P.
Like, you can't just Control P. Control P's rookie. You gotta tell the Control P. You gotta tell that.
Yes.
This new size.
What's that size?
2 by 3.
Can you type that in?
Yeah, it's a preset thing. You have to scroll down. Okay. I think this is actually 1.25
so if
by 2.25.
I press Control P 2 by 3.
Then no.
Print.
Still wrong. Sorry. There's another place you got to tell the system, the computer itself.
The mun bin drive.
Yeah, there's a driver. You open the mun bin app. But you got to tell your computer, hey, don't think you're printing on a normal printer now. We're printing on the mun bin and we're printing this big right now. So you can tell the internet, this is what we're printing on. But you also must tell your computer, this is what we're printing on. And then you also must tell the mun bin. Because the mun bin's like, well, I can print on a couple different size stickers. Oh. You must tell the mun bin this is what we're printing on. So three proclamations, 1 prayer, and 3 tapping your toes together, and you might
printing on Eddie. Like, yes, I would like no predefined stock. Yes, 3.5. Fit to size.
Dear Eddie, please print on the cookie. Please do not smash my cookie. So I don't know. That was a rock update. Somehow mun bin is in it. But anyways, get that stuff figured out now. Yeah. In these lull times, it's actually not a slow time. It's a slow time for orders, but it's not a slow time for business. Yeah. This would be the time where you're auditing that website, getting everything freshened up, getting your link tree updated, getting your social media dialed in. Corey said the pin post.
Your Instagram highlights cleaned out. I don't need to know what you were doing in 2022.
But those are hard to clean. We got to clean it.
Just delete it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just start over fresh.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, what's in 2022?
Nobody's watching them. If you've watched an SEM highlight, please raise your hand. Oh, nobody? Okay.
But I put my reviews in one. You can have them where they're timeless.
That's good.
I think when they're time stamped is hard because there's no value to last year.
The baker's like, well, that's all I'm featuring is like teacher stuff. So I guess if the teacher appreciation day is over, delete the highlight.
Delete the highlight. Yeah. It still archives it so you can bring it back next year if you want to, but
yeah, fair. I don't want to watch your old highlights. Then we do customer and employee headlines. Again, only 5 minutes. So we're only 20 minutes into this. But your customer and employee headlines, this is a quick update on headline news and any major developments in the organization. This should just be 1 sentences with main updates from leadership team or whoever's providing the update.
So if you're doing an update to yourself, you can be like, I got a reorder from a lady named Bianca. She drives an hour to come get the cookies. That would be my customer highlight. My cookies are so good, they're worth an hour drive.
Yeah, and then as far as, let's pretend you have a baker accountability buddy. You could say, oh, I purchased this online class. I'm going to be taking it. Check in with me next week and I'll tell you 3 things I learned. Yeah. Again, if you're just talking to yourself on this is still really valuable to keep you on track. I feel like when we're solopreneurs, we're like, well, it's just me. It's kind of weird to talk to myself. But these are really just a check-in weekly to make sure we're on the right path. If you don't do this,
these little thought bubbles come to you like when you're elbow deep in flour and you're like, yeah, I'll write this down after. You forget.
Yeah. I feel like you can almost tell when a baker has an agenda that they meet with every week, kind of like a goal plan.
Yeah, you can kind of see
You're like, you are in a direction. Then you can tell the baker's like, well, I'll just buy whatever Corey bought from Dollar Store and see. Like, if the target trays are any indicator of somebody who planned out that stuff and somebody who didn't want.
I got a little scratch.
A little boo-boo.
A little boo-boo.
Where did you get a move
I have
from?
no idea. It was a cat.
He could. He's really fast. So again, that's only 5 minutes. The next 5 minutes is action items review list. So this is your task. Run through your to-do list or action items to check in on what was done and what's pending from last week's meeting. The action items from previous weeks are typically 7-day action items, and they should either be completed or pending. This portion will only list the status of action items without comments or discussing. So what are you working on this week?
You can really beat yourself up over. You really have to come at this as it's more of a where are you at, not how dare you did not finish that last week. It was on your agenda for last week.
The big thing about this meeting framework is there's no punishment.
There shouldn't be any punishment.
There's always you likely are trying to get this done. If you didn't get this done in the next section, let's figure out what's blocking.
Yeah.
Not that you're a loser.
Or you should feel bad about yourself in that section. You shouldn't. It's just literally seeing where you're at. Odds are you did some positive thing last week in your business. So this week shouldn't be like, how dare you didn't get the 52 other things that you had set up for yourself.
In fact, in the action item review list that we have, there's only space for 3 tasks each week. Anything beyond that is probably stuff that was never going to get gotten to. So I'll be like, what, sometimes Corey will only give me 2 things. Sometimes she'll give me 1. I'll be like, are you even working? What are you doing? So every Tuesday we have the podcast and Wednesday newsletter. So I don't add those, but I will say, okay, we got to drop the cookie class kit for this week, or we've got to do this for this client this week. And then just next week, it'll be like, hey, did you get to that? Yes or no? There's no discussion because that's this next section. This next section is the chunkiest part of this. But you can see that everything is just kind of setting, where are we this week?
Yeah.
Where are we? Did we get where we wanted to go? No. Okay, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. Where do we, and here's the metrics that.
It's kind of, to me, shaving off the fluff. Like if I had $1 for every idea I had for every holiday, I
could be retired.
But there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much time you
can
dedicate.
There's only so much willpower.
Yeah. So I used to feel super guilty about having an idea and wanting to do it and not being able to get it done.
Because it really puts you in a negative mindset that you are not doing.
Yeah. Like, oh, someone else is going to do it before me, or I didn't get this done. I really wanted to do this. I had such a good idea about it. Where then you are kind of beating yourself up and you're like, I got to wait till next year.
This meeting, and it becomes in your mind associated with a negative view of yourself, you're not going to keep doing it. So Corey and I do not feel bad at this meeting. Yeah. I think at the beginning you thought it was going to be like
I really thought it was going to
Corey had the worst attitude. I had left off what bad things happened this week until her attitude changed. So to recap again, check in 5 minutes. How's your week going? What's some wins? 5-minute scoreboard. Here's the metrics that we're tracking. No comment if they're up or down. You're just reporting on what they are. The rock update. What are your quarterly goals? Are we on track? Awesome. Okay, keep them in focus. 5 minutes, customer and employee headlines. What's happening? Anything good happening? And then we do the action item review list. What are you working on this week? What am I working on this week? What were we working on last week? Does that come over this week, or do we leave it in last week? Then this is a one. This is the chunkiest part of this meeting. It's called the IDR, I think. Oh, IDS.
IDS. Sounds
so
like
it's identify, discuss, and solve. Yeah, you're going to be running. That's for sure. You're going to be running to something. This is the longest part of this meeting and a very crucial step. Run through the top priorities and issues within the organization and complete the IDS framework for each of these issues. Again, IDS stands for identify, discuss, and solve. Go through the root cause of the issues and focus on resolving them. This is the part where you create a new to-do list for the week to be completed before the next meeting. Issues that have been a part of the to-do list for more than 3 weeks should be designated as quarterly issues and discussed only in quarterly meetings.
To not keep bringing it up.
This is just a weekly meeting. So give us an example of an IDS.
An IDS, if you wanted to up your photo game. So you want to find the best lighting in the house. You're going to have to dedicate some time to it.
I would say the goal would be, I want better photos. The issue would be like, I need a better camera. I'm not sure which camera I should get. Okay, how should I solve this? I'll go to the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group and ask people, here's my budget on a camera. So then that moves that whole photography upping project forward because now you've gotten the camera.
You have an action plan.
Right.
So if you're like, okay, my photos are Liddy 5000, they're great. Another one would be like, we talk about creating a newsletter. The words creating a newsletter, easy to say, harder to do. So you could be like, I saw someone ask, how do I get what do I do to get people to give me the addresses, email addresses? What do I put it in? And how do I get an email to them?
She's identifying, discussing, and solving. But sometimes when we take, I'm going to start a newsletter. That's such a big project and so few words. So we'll say, okay, I want to send out a newsletter. What do I need to identify? Well, I need to create an email list. How am I going to do that? You can always ask in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. But what I'm going to tell you is you're allowed to get past orders and create a email list from that. Again, the first email should probably be like, hey, I'm sending out a newsletter if you don't want to be in this. But then you're like, wait, look, you send out a newsletter. Right. So your next issue after you get them together is to find out a newsletter sender that works for you. MailChimp's kind of free if you have under a certain amount of people. Flowdesk is a monthly payment. However, it has no increase charge for new signups.
Yeah.
And then there's Constant Contact. There's a million you can choose from. So you can always, again, ask in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group falls perfully within this line item.
It's in your solution area.
Yeah. Because other people have had the problem and solved it. So if you find, okay, well, this is my goal. Here's where I identify that that I can't reach this goal. So sometimes you can ask your accountability buddy baker. Sometimes you can join the Cookie College. Sometimes you can just ask in a community group and see what the answer is. And then you can solve that. So again, we need to identify what the roadblocks are and solve them and constantly move forward. This one always has to be moving something forward.
The problem with small business and being a solopreneur, you have 52 things on your plate of to-dos. So much so you get overwhelmed. So what if we shaved off about 50 of those. Put 2 high priority things that we are going to work on.
Yes.
We're going to find a solution this week. So that's 2 things that now we only have 50 on our plate next week.
I really like that. You're kind of extrapolating from the eat that frog approach. Okay. Is the dude's like, you have A, B, C, and D. A is like, it has to get done and I'll get in trouble if it doesn't. B is, it has to get done, but I don't get in trouble. C is, I don't get in trouble, it doesn't have to be done. And D is, he's like, if it ends up in the column D, you actually never had to do it. You just wanted busy work. So when you focus on, and he only says like, pick 2 things. If you focus on 2 things that have to get done, and if they don't get done, I get in trouble, that's what's going to fall in here. That B stuff, the things I need to get done, but I don't get in trouble, that might be able to graduate when the A stuff is done. Yeah. But if we have A, B, C,
one issue though with the A's, you're always going to have something you have to get done.
That's what's going to take priority.
Yeah, but you're going to have cookie orders that you're going to put as A's. But what happened to the newsletter? Newsletter's got to get done eventually. But you can always make an excuse. Like, I didn't want to go on a walk yesterday, and I had 50 excuses lined up. None of them were good. They were all trash. I was ready to give them out one by one till something hit. Yeah. So the thing is, you have to be like, okay, I know I have 2 orders that I have to get done this week.
Maybe your A can be orders plus 1 marketing thing.
If we had like a little, what is that?
Hierarchical?
One? Yeah, but like when you're typing and you're doing like A, 1, 2.
Oh, an outline?
An outline. A, I have to do these 2 orders. One is birthday, one is baby shower. AB, newsletter.
Yeah, so you know, it would be wild if Corrie and I were like, if Corrie only did cookies and didn't focus on creating content for the Cookie College, well, then that's not moving forward. Right. We can't be surprised. But here's the thing: I reported on the metrics of the Cookie College, so it's a key metric. It's something we got to focus on. It kind of falls into I hate to say, the TikTok trend. If you wanted to, you would. If you really wanted to grow, you would. If you don't really want to, I love people like, I just don't have time. Like, do you have a Netflix subscription? Because then you do have time.
Are you
like, on you don't want to, so you won't. I'm not going to tell you can't watch Netflix, but I'm just going to say, be realistic. Don't say, I have no time. Just say, I have no time that I want to give to this. I'd rather relax.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I built in time where I'm like, you can't touch this. This is my relaxing time. But you can't be like, well, I'm just so busy. You're probably not busy I got one of these little time healers. Don't recommend it. It's like a paid subscription now. But at the time I had gotten it, it was free. But I track every once in a while I'll track what I do all day. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I hardly work. I am mostly standing up. I'm mostly stretching my legs. But I think a lot of us are like, all I do is work. When in reality, you're on your phone for 20, 30 an hour. It's easy to let time go when you're scrolling on TikTok or Facebook or something. So again, identify, discuss, and solve these issues that move your whole business forward. If you skip this part, your business will be pretty stagnant.
Yeah. And then you'll be wondering like, I feel like I'm not moving forward. I feel like I'm in the same spot.
Right. A lot of times, like if we cut out this meeting would just basically be saying like, how's the cookie orders going? You're not doing any growth side of this. And I feel like this identify, discuss, and solve, the IDS part of this is the biggest part of the meeting because it is the one that truly makes a big difference. Yeah. But that's where you're not going to blame yourself. Again, you're going to say, what are the roadblocks? Kind of break down your problem. Again, if it's too big, I want to learn photography. Break it down to, okay, what's the first step for somebody to learn photography? Yeah. Hey, guys in Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, what's my first step?
Right. What's one thing I can do to help my photos? Yeah. The problem is if you make these giant hills, they're so overwhelming that you're going to be like, I just don't have the energy right now.
Yes. And then you're going to be like, I'm so busy. You're busy putting off that thing. Yeah. And that's fair because you made it too big to climb.
Yeah. So instead of being like, I really want to send out a newsletter, put your little to-do list. I'm going to go through my past orders and collect the email addresses.
Just do that. Those. That'll be the only thing. That one thing.
You're now closer to a newsletter.
Yeah, you're actually on the path. Then after you get all the emails together, then you're like, then I guess my next thing is I got to find out where to put these emails. Yeah. And then that's when you come back and do that next step. So that really helps you break that down. Then we have the conclusion of the meeting. So that last thing is technically 60 minutes. If you had an accountability buddy, you each get 30 minutes to kind of break it down. Yeah. And I really like the idea of an accountability buddy. In the Cookie College, we call them study buddies. Yeah. You can find yourself a study buddy. You can kind of say like, hey, what's going on with you? Help them be the sounding board and then help them break down their big task. And then they can do the same for you.
I want to say though, from someone who hates this meeting, I will make an excuse to not show up to it. You have to be both on the same page that you're going to allot a time to this You're going to say at 10:30 on Mondays, we're going to have a 1-hour phone call and we're going to get this done. Because if you have an excuse and then they have an excuse.
Oh, you're never going to do this.
You're never going to do it.
The minute you stop, like Corrie and I will maybe have to take off a week or so, but I'll send it to her in an email.
By the way, I have to take off next week.
What? Where are you going?
has 2 dental appointments.
Oh, I'm going to go to the dentist in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I want to go to the next week. He has 2 dentist appointments?
I put his dentist appointment and the ortho appointment on the same day. So dentist
Is
first
he getting
clean.
braces?
They're going to see if it's the time.
Welcome to hell, buddy.
I know.
We all had braces.
He knows he needs them, though.
Okay. Then the conclusion. 5 minutes. Conclude the meeting on a positive note and complete the following. Recap the meeting. List what's going to be done for your next steps. And finally, rate your meeting. Corey always rates them at 7.
I always rate a 7. Sometimes I've given
Once you've given it a 9.
I did.
Post Fendi Blend, I think you gave it a 9. Because we were on a high.
We were down. Now as we approach the Fendi Blend, it goes lower and lower.
We're going to get down to a 5.
1.
So to recap this meeting, so your check-in will be 5 minutes. How are you doing? Where you're at? Anything good happen? Scorecard update. Here's the metrics report. No discussion on them. And I like to compare them to last week so we can have a benchmark.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes up. Sometimes it goes down.
Sometimes it goes down a lot. Then we do the rock update. What's our quarterly goals? Things that we're headed for. Just make sure we're all on the same page, that we're still headed for the rock. Again, at the end of the quarter, there should be moved. There should be new rocks.
We like to kick our rocks down the road.
Then we do customer and employee headlines, a quick update, major events, anything that's going on, things to know. And then you do an action item review list. What are you working on last week? What are you working on this week? And then you get to the chunky part, the 60 minutes, the identify, discuss, and solve, the IDS framework. Here's what I'm working on. Here's my issue. Can we break this down? What am I going to do? How can I move this forward?
Yeah.
And then you are going to go to your conclusion. So things you need to work on this week. How do you rate the meeting? And just recap everything I said.
I like to, in my weeks, is to have like kind of a play-by-play. So they're kind of identical each week. Go and update my Google My Business with the latest sets that I did the past week. Make an update there. Make sure my page, I post to it. I try to
tell when you get to your update community groups task because I see
Mondays.
you everywhere.
It's Mondays in the morning.
Oh, there, Corey. Oh, heart. Wow.
Because I really work well when it's the same thing over and over.
So you have a system in place.
I do. I have a system in place. Each week I know I have the orders, but then I try to say, test either try the new macaron recipe, do that garlic bread sourdough recipe, see what you can learn this week to add it to your little, because when you learn, like I made the sourdough garlic bread, I made 1 bad loaf and then the next day 1 good loaf. Now I'm good.
Fantastic. Did you get a crumb read on?
No crumb read on that.
It was delicious. She brought it this morning. I say it was good. Did you pre-cut it and then butter it?
Yeah, you make 12 even circles, and then you put butter inside and then close it up, and then it bakes with the butter inside.
That was ridiculously good. My breath is shot. But
now I know in my back pocket I have this recipe that if I want to remake it, I
would say a great indicator that you don't have systems and processes in place is if each week feels like a blob of I'm not sure which direction I should go.
Where you have to catch your breath.
That's also
on Friday nights.
That you don't have the right system in place. Every week you're flying by the seat of your bacon pants and you're not having a system. Like when you create system, like Corey said, on Mondays I do this, that, and the other. On Tuesdays I learn something new. On Wednesdays I do the podcast. Like once you have those systems in place, then you kind of have a pretty rigid schedule and you know exactly where your knowledge. I can't do that this week, but what I can do that is next week. When you like wake up every Monday and you're like, I'm not sure what this week holds.
Yeah, like you're blobbing about, bag in the wind is what I'm saying.
I'd say right there, you're going to start with this meeting every Monday. Yeah. You can start at 10:30 as well. Corey and I start at 10:30. We'll be meeting at the same time, but kind of build out your week. Now you've got at the beginning of a framework. Well, you know what this meeting is going to tell you to do? It's going to tell you what your week's going to look like. Yeah. Okay, so you're building out a new system for the week. Well, I've got too many orders. I can't do that. What does that tell you? You got to take fewer orders. If I take fewer orders, I don't make enough money. Then you got to raise your prices. Well, if I raise my prices, I'll lose customers. Then you got to go back to marketing, right? You see that missing this framework creates a series of unfortunate events.
Where it's almost like, that Spider-Man where everyone's pointing at everyone.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going on or what's going wrong.
Right. I took too many orders. You didn't market enough. You didn't say no. Yeah. And then there's just that discombobulated. And then you're going to get burnt out because that is the definition of it.
That is, me and Heather, right before COVID, had the most clients we've ever had where we were turning people away.
But we were suffering.
But we were dying.
I said, Corey, there's not enough hours for this.
There's not. Yeah. It was not enough hours. And then people bringing their little
printer problems,
campfire issues. Like they brought their fire to your front door.
Can you Photoshop for this? Listen, you don't believe that. I can. Here it is, but you don't believe it.
I know, and not having that framework where no, this is actually what you pay for. If you would like to, we can discuss adding that to your thing.
The framework that was missing for that company was being very distinct on setting expectations at the beginning and then being very rigid with a lot of that comes down to reporting, telling people this is what I did and this is what you paid for. So the contract has been fulfilled for the month, which I'm terrible at. But in hindsight, now you create these frameworks. So now it's like, hey, what's the status on this? Can you reach out to them and get this done? Like Corrie and I'll be like, oh, I was avoiding that email. I was avoiding it too. One of us got to not avoid it. So this really lets you do that. Now, so I would recommend, I could even start a study buddy thread in the main group. Why would you squeaker out of that?
Because
I know what you're squeaking out. Because I have you guys quit.
I would say your best study buddy is someone you jive with, that you've followed on Instagram.
I don't even think they have to be bakers.
It doesn't have to be bakers, but bakers will understand your hardship of.
If you were in an entrepreneurial group, you could find somebody who can bounce off ideas while they don't understand the baking. Like I'm not a baker. I can tell you that don't taste good. That ain't it. I think you missed some. I think your egg was too warm.
The problem is if you're like, when I'm like to my husband, hey, 10 doesn't do today. He's like, well, it sounds like you got to get it done. Bada bing, bada boom. Start making that butter.
I mean, okay. Find a baker. So a lot of people will find a baker actually that lives in their area.
Yeah.
And they do that. And I think Heather Campbell Brookshire and Kim Mmmmmm, what I call her, that's her name. But they're emotional support bakers.
They are.
And they'll meet up. I think they actually meet up a ton, but now they teach classes together and do things like that. And they met each other and they keep each other in line. And I think Kim's now opening a brick and mortar and how they're supporting that. Where you'll never guess where they're going to teach classes.
There.
So that really works out well when you find a baker that matches your attitude and your consistency. Now, what you don't want to do is have somebody that's dragging you down.
Yeah.
If Corrie mowed through everyone in these meetings, it's going to be impossible for me to want to call her.
I don't know. Let's take the week off.
Yeah. So then you got to find somebody who wants to grow, has the same mental mindset. Yeah. Like, hey, let's do this. Let's grow this year.
I would say
stay consistent.
Partnered with, say if you had a full-time job, partners with someone else who has a full-time job, and you guys are doing cookies on the side.
That'd be a nice matchup. Because if this is their full-time job and it's your part-time hustle, you could still be fine. But they're just speaking a bit of it. So I'm not going to post that in the main group. However, if you want to join the Cookie College, there you go. There's my call to action. All those people put their money where their mouth is. They're all paying to be there. They're all paying to grow. So a lot of people really pair up there.
How about this? I do not mind if you go into the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group and ask, does anyone want to be my study buddy? Here's where I am at with my business.
You have to be distinct. Do you have 5 kids? And
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 5 kids under the age of 5.
I've been doing this for 5
years. My husband love each other.
We've been baking just now.
And I do maybe 5 dozen cookies a week.
That would be good. Then you could find somebody who's applicable.
Or if you're a cake baker, say, I actually don't do cookies. I'm a cake baker.
I would pair up with a cake baker. So that'd be an interesting idea. Or you can meet, but you can absolutely meet by yourself.
Absolutely. If so many bakers are actually introverts. That's why we started baking. So we didn't have to make eye contact with
people. You guys know you got to talk to everybody.
You honestly really have to put on your.
Did you see that meme I posted?
No.
When the client doesn't make small talk. I'm in my niche meme era on the Sugar Cookie Marketing page. If you want a little chuckle,
niche.
Yeah, it's not going to obscure thoughts. Today was the client. Hey, thank you so much. Hope you have a good day. The cookies are cute. And then the baker, you too,
because you want someone to glory lot and honor.
So yeah, that is that. What was it? EOS Level 10 meeting framework. You couldn't shove one more buzzword in there if you tried. Again, not our idea, just what we use. And I actually think we've been doing it for 2 years. So we've made it, I've just changed the order of things a little bit. I've added gossip column. And then we kind of end on the recap and everything. And it's been working really well because I know where Corey's head's at. She knows where my head's at. And I know where I'm headed this week.
Mm-hmm. And after me and Heather get off our little thing, I have a little thing on my cookie desk. It's a to-do list, a little tiny square. Anything I said to hold myself accountable.
Would you put work?
Something. Try to work.
Heather will call again next week. Have something to tell her. Do you think the meetings have helped?
Yeah.
I think it gives you, like, I'm all into the numbers, and Corrie doesn't get to see them because she doesn't have or want to have access to the dashboard.
Something hits and something doesn't.
So me being able to say, here's where the numbers are at, that allows Corrie to see where we're at. Without the numbers, you're floating kind of blind.
Well, then it's the feeling, and your feelings can be
wrong.
Feelings
can be wrong. So I can say, here's the numbers in relation to where they were last year. We were either up and down, in relation to 2 years ago, things like that. So takes all the emotion out of it. And then what can we do this week to increase those numbers?
Yeah. But if you can start now,
get in the habit now.
Get in the habit now. Then when you're so busy, that hour, you'll cherish it so much because you'll have...
me?
No.
Teacher.
I said you eventually. I'm not at the eventually. Still not there.
Google's like, you have enough pages. So yeah, I would encourage you. I think it's a great habit to get into. It's going to seem weird at first. If you do this with somebody else, you're going to be like, what do you do next? Just follow the framework.
And I went kicking and screaming.
You are a difficult person.
I went kicking and screaming because I felt like it was going to be like, what did you not get done?
Yeah, Corrie really honestly had her dukes raised.
Corrie, what did you didn't do?
Yeah. Is that how your brain naturally
when it comes to you?
Yeah. I was like, hey, what are you working on? It's like, I'm working. The first couple of those meetings were wrong. I'm like, hey, listen, that's okay. I don't care if you didn't get it done. We will get it done this week. Because it is a rock. So I would encourage you guys to try it out. And Corrie and I always say, like, you got to try something out for 2 months before you call it quits. Even if you know it's not working out, you got to see.
It's almost like, getting that lawnmower started for the first time. It's not going to start on the first one. Yeah. It's not going to be very consistent.
You got to mow the lawn a couple times before you realize you need a new lawnmower.
Because you're taking an hour of time that you were busy scrolling on Facebook.
There you go.
You're going to have to put that hour. It's not going to come naturally to you at the beginning because it's always been something.
It's going to be awkward. Even if you find a study buddy and you're like, hello, and they're like, hello, you're going to be like, this feels really weird. But eventually over time, you get into a nice flow of it and you're like, okay.
I will say if you want to do it in the afternoons on Monday, I just like things on Monday. The afternoon on Monday when you're sitting in the car pickup line, it's a silent time.
Well, somebody has to write it down.
You can do it on your little notes app.
Oh, that's good.
You're just sitting in your car.
Yeah, the key point of this one is do write it down.
Yeah.
Writing it down. If you don't write it down, you're going to feel like the meeting's a blob because it is a blob. The framework, it's called a framework, so you have to follow it. And then every week I just write it down. I copy and paste the framework from last week, delete the old stuff.
Yeah, so just copy and paste it.
One thing that I added to ours that I didn't say is that we have a countdown. Like I say, Mother's Day is 6 weeks away.
I love saying that.
Yeah, because it helps Corrie now to get into the kitchen.
Yeah, it does. Because I feel like things are so... The problem with bakers is you're celebrating the holiday 6 weeks before the holiday actually happens.
Yeah, you're operating.
We're at Father's Day right now, kids.
I'll tell Corrie, like, hey, look, Independence Day is only 8 weeks away. So Corrie said that you bakers kind of need to operate off of 8 weeks.
Yeah, because I tell Heather, I took it to Home Goods with me. And I said, Home Goods hits the holiday sooner. So if you need props or you need packaging, you would go now.
So you'd order your cutter at 8 weeks. You'll get it at the 7th week. You'll get your packaging at the 6th week. You're creating your samples. And at the 5th week, you're marketing all the way until 2 weeks out. You're talking about pickups. Till 1 week, you're cutting orders off and stuff like that. So that's why I added the countdown. I also added in the countdown of our personal lives. Corey's kids getting picked up by his dad. We have a beach trip. And that kind of helps us understand where the year is headed.
Yeah. Chaos.
The year is flying by. Listen. I wrote the word July. It is already.
I already sent November's cookie class kits to Sweet Pink Olive.
I saw it with the little emojis.
I did. I even threw a little few jokes in there.
I was like, this is very fun.
I said, I got to if she's going to work, I want to enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah. My countdown calendar. If you guys don't understand, the countdown calendar I post for you guys on Monday is born from that framework that I just had yelled to Corrie about. And I had to add in back to school because I just add the next holiday coming. Yeah.
Yes. BTC sound. It rolls off the tongue. But
the Bluetooth killer. Sounds like a murder. But yeah, I can't believe because we had the lull. Truly, June and July and the end of August is like doldrums of baking. So that's why I'm like, there's no holidays. Yeah, I added Shark Week.
Yeah.
Shark
Week actually isn't a bad one.
I know you think that. That's all we got after Dad's Day. My dad texted me this morning, please disregard the email I sent. I couldn't have run faster to the email to see what I needed to disregard. You know, if you got this email, it's like, hey, you won this thing from a store you really like. All you do is answer the survey and give us your address and we'll ship you the thing. He gets all the way through the survey. It's for a Home Depot, Milwaukee roll box.
Those are like thousands of dollars.
He won it. So then he goes through the whole thing, gives him his credit card information, and then the email is like, did I get hosed on this? Did I get scammed? And I texted him back and I said, well, at least now you know what you really want for dollars. He's like, no, I didn't even want it. It was just free.
Oh, man. When I was doing yearbook, all the kids were like, did you get the Home Depot toolbox email?
They did.
But no one was clicking on it.
Oh yeah, they saw my dad come from a mile away. Said, you know, and I love our dad to death. But he got a call from the bank's fraud department and proceeded to give the man on the phone his social security number, the PIN to his Verizon account.
Yeah, the man was like, "Oh wow."
He was like, "What, dude? Chill."
When I went to scam school, they didn't say it was going to be the season.
Glenn, okay. Here's our texts.
How many do we have?
3.
You can choose 2.
It was so funny because yesterday we only had 1.
You can choose
I'll
2.
choose all 3 of them. Hi, twins. On a recent podcast, you mentioned the idea of not linking to your website in the caption of a Facebook post because it would be an engagement killer. Can you explain more about this? I feel like by linking the website, it would make it easier for potential customers to come get to my site. Thanks, Chelsea.
Great, fantastic question. As an admin of a group, I want to tell you, a lot of times when you include a linkage in the caption, it will send it straight to spam.
Yeah, there's this new spam filter in groups, kind of handy, but also overachieving.
Overkiller.
But here is the concept. Yes, she is correct in asking, does putting my link make it easier to order? It does, because when somebody says, oh, here's a caption, here's how to order, that's the fewest steps possible. So that is correct. However, think about Zuckerberg's stance here.
Zuckerberg says, if you're on my platform, I make money. If you're on someone else's website, I don't.
So when you put a link, you're essentially saying, hey, Zuck, I'm going to take this user right here that you could show an ad to and make a buck off of, and I'm going to take them to my website. Zuckerberg's like, buddy bear, boo.
Buddy bear,
you
boo.
ain't taking my people. I paid money to get on my platform and send them off to your platform. So what Zuck does is like when there's a link that takes people externally to something that isn't a Facebook property, I feel like even Instagram, it doesn't like those, it's going to curtail the engagement. So you say, okay,
it's going to
kill it.
Kill the reach.
Oh, yeah.
There's
which
no
is
even engagement.
Nobody can engage if they don't see it. They're not going to see it because you included the link. So the question is the chicken or the egg. Do you post the link because it's easy to order, more people order that way? Or do you post no link so it reaches more people so that they can order, but now they got to search for it? My answer is a mix of both.
My strategy now, I want the eyeballs. Without the eyeballs, I can't make the sales. So what I do is actually say, check the comments for a link to order.
What?
Nothing.
What did it say?
Someone said, I'm trying to buy the cookie class kits for June. It says closed.
Yeah, they're already in a membership. If you go to buy something and you're already in membership, it'll say everything is closed because you can just switch your membership by going to...
She said, is it too late? No. Bakes and Bites, it's not.
Did you write it back?
No, I'm just reading.
Corey got a privacy screen on her phone and I hate it.
Oh, I got a privacy screen.
Okay, back to our podcast.
Yeah, so what I like to do is put it in the captions. That saves them at least one extra. Comments? Put it in the comments.
Okay, that was very confusing. Sorry, Chelsea.
Sorry.
Please disregard what Corey just said.
What do you think? I like to put it in the comments. So one, if someone is nosy and clicks to the comments, they can still see the link, but having the link in the comments isn't going to trunk the reach on the post.
Yeah, I'll say that if your post frequency is high enough, you could do a mix of, hey, here's the link in the caption. You're going to see it perform worse. That's just what, when I put sugarcookiemarketing.com and something, it might as well just show it to Corey. It might as well just text it to Corey.
It's just me. Yeah.
I'd get more engagement if I texted it to Corey than posting it on Facebook. So I'm going to say that on a social media platform, our goal is reach, thus is born engagement. Then you can reply to people.
What if funnel? I like to, you can tag your page.
Okay.
And you will not sacrifice reach.
Okay.
So if we funnel them to our page, at least you can reach them in a form of an ad to people who like your page.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's a couple different approaches. Some people comment to get the link, and that's because when somebody comments, you can send them a message. There's some automation you can use there. I always feel like it feels extremely automated, but that's a way to get somebody a link without but by creating engagement, comment this to get the link, and I'll send it to you in the DM. So there's ways to go about that. Again, test your audience. But yeah, putting a link in the caption is a reach killer.
It is a reach killer. So I would try to avoid that at all costs. But you're right. They're now having to jump over a hoop. But putting it in the comments of the same post makes it a little bit easier, so you're not like, comment and I'll DM you.
Now in groups, they've killed hyperlinks in captions.
I saw that.
They still kind of appear in comments though. It's ridiculous. So Facebook is really stopping the ability to get web traffic from them. They want to keep it on there.
So many scams though too.
I know. I agree.
In the sourdough group. This is the scam that I see.
Okay.
And it's these giants, like 900,000 people in a sourdough
group. Oh, yeah.
Group.
They're open groups, right? Public group?
Yeah, public group. So it'll be someone who posts, it's not a sourdough. It's like literally a chocolate pudding cake.
Okay.
This was so easy to make. Would you want the recipe?
That's genius.
Comment.
You know, on the policeman page, the Prince William County Police, it'll be like, I was reading like an accident report, a motorcycle or something.
Yeah.
And the comment section will be like, wow, they just released a bystander's video of this. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, but it's so scam.
It's so scammy because they really harness that. Oh, I want it. This is a great question. The next text. Hi, ladies. I haven't heard anything about CookieCon this year. We're having a happy hour. Tickets go on sale this month. I'm not sure. This is not Heather Campbell Brookshire. Heather Campbell Brookshire and Kim Sims are angels. They're actually sponsoring the happy hour, but they're also putting it on. Corrie and I will not be able to make CookieCon, but that doesn't mean we can't have a happy hour.
Actually, if we give them credit, they ran it last year.
They were
we just showed up and
I was like, this is fantastic. Who put this on? Oh, we did? Yeah, so Heather Campbell Brookshire and Kim are setting it all up. They even asked me, can you please post it? If you're listening to this, I will post it right now. They asked us to post it. So yeah, we'll cover the happy hour. We'll promote it. They're going to host it, and it'll be in Texas this year.
Let me tell you, you've never met two nicer hosts.
You haven't met two nicer people.
They are the sweetest souls. I don't know. Do they take a spoonful of sugar in the morning? That's how.
Just a spoonful of sugar.
That's the only way you can be that sweet.
I guess. I don't know how they do it. They
bought us taking a spoonful of sourdough.
So yes, there is a happy hour. It will, oddly, unfortunately, we did go to CookieCon last year, but my older and younger sister paired it with a Disney trip that they planned too early for Cookie. So the happy hour was the day before CookieCon thought about getting started. Yeah. So now this one will be the actual day before. So you can come in for CookieCon, go to this happy hour, meet some SEM group members. Get slashy. Turn into Corey's husband's like, you're a slash puppy. That sounds delicious. I'll take one of those as well. Get your little slash puppy on. Meet some really awesome people. Find friends for the week. CookieCon is more fun.
Your meeting partner.
Yeah. Like, hey, have you done the EOS Level 10 meeting framework? Yeah, I'll take a shot at that as well.
But if you are actually listening to this, or it's free to anyone. You don't have to be a part of any of our groups. If you just want to come and meet some people, come on over there. The only way I can bring it to you is in the group, though.
Yeah. If you see a crowd of very nice people, also join.
Stop on by.
You are not listening to this podcast, I can guarantee it. But yeah, it'll be CookieCon tickets go on sale now, and I think CookieCon is in September this year.
Just so you know, the cult will be passing one thing of Kool-Aid. Everyone will be taking a sip.
At 8 p.m. on the nose. We please live stream it so Corey and I can also attend. Last text. Actually, I'm going to just address this one because I don't think I have an answer for it. Hi, twins. Can you please direct me to the podcast episode number where you explain in detail how to set up a Google My Business profile? I'm losing my mind over here trying to go back and find it. There's not one.
I thought there was one.
On how to set it up. There's a one on how to kind of use it to set it up. They've changed it just a little bit, but I think you go to business.google.com, if I remember correctly. Yeah. You'll go to follow the prompts to set up. They change often. Just set yourself as a service area. You just need to make sure that you're not, but you're going to be like, but it's still asking me for an address. Yes, it has to send you a verification postcard. You'll get it in 6 days. But follow the prompts. Let me just make sure it's not, I think it's business. Bussiness. Does anyone say bussiness? Google.com. Make sure. Yep. Stand out with your Google business profile for free. So you go click sign in or manage now, depending on where you're at in your journey.
Do you need to have a Gmail account?
You have to, yes. Okay. It is connected to a Gmail
account.
So
the first step is technically
have an email address.
Does it have to be a business email address?
No, you can create it with a regular Gmail and then add your workspace email as a manager or primary owner.
Would you need a workspace email to have one at all?
No, you don't need a paid. You can do a free Gmail and set this up. So you create your Gmail if you haven't already. You can use a personal one. You can transfer. These are pretty easy to transfer now these days. It used to be harder. So use any Gmail account, likely a work one, if you want to keep every business and pleasure separate. Then you create the profile. It will ask you some prompts. Make sure you set. I think a lot of people aren't reading the prompts. They're just clicking haphazardly. Yeah. One prompt will say, do you service customers at your location? You are going to feel like you want to say yes because people pick up there. You need to say no. You need to say you're a service area business. Even though people are picking up at your location, you are not a brick and mortar by definition of Google.
What that question is asking is if someone shows up, can they buy something? Since you're a order,
you're not.
You do not. You don't have hours that people can show up at your house.
Yes. So while people, they do conduct business at your house, you are not that to Google. So you need to say I'm a service area. Then it's going to ask you for address, and you're going to panic because you didn't read the prompts real slow, and you're going to say, "But it's going to list my address." No, it will not list your address if you're set up as a service area. But when you give them your address, they're going to send you a postcard. It's a very tiny, tiny postcard. It looks like spam.
You're gonna throw it.
You're gonna throw it away. You're gonna want to throw it away. It comes in 5 days. It's
gonna be in the middle of a newspaper.
It feels like
you don't read.
Trash. It doesn't feel like it should be official, and it gets thrown away a lot. So when you get that, you'll have a business profile that you can actually start building out, but it will not show until it's verified. Once it's verified, a lot of people think, "Why am I not showing up first?" If you could show up first by just clicking a button, SEO would be dead. It's very much a strategy. It's a consistent strategy over a long periods of time to get your listing to show up.
Yeah.
If your listing shows up and it shows your address, you're set up incorrectly. It is a matter of time before that listing gets suspended and deleted. So you're playing a dangerous game. Yes, people who show their addresses rank higher because Google says, well, I want to direct people to brick and mortar. Then you're going to have people, and then I know some of you guys are like, well, I just put in the cross street. Nope, you're still violating Google's terms of services. You're playing a risky game. They will find you. They will delete you. And now all your reviews go with it.
Yeah.
If at any point Google says, we don't think you're real, we're going to do a video verification, that means you're also set up incorrectly. Google does not video verify service area businesses like it does brick and mortars. The reason why it's doing a video verification is because it's going to make you show an office where people are working, a front door with a logo affixed to it.
What about my
parking lot?
No. What about my 2 parking spaces?
Like, really small business. Please disregard my child.
I am working in the kitchen.
Slave labor. There's my dog. He's my assistant.
If you want a step-by-step hand holding to go through it, that is a #1 class in the Cookie College.
A lot of people take it because it's such a great lead source.
It's such a great lead source. And you're I don't have a Google My Business. I've never, the reason why it's good to have a Google My Business is because you are getting a cold audience who's never heard about you. A lot of times Facebook is a warm audience. Someone recommends you, you post it in a group and they search a keyword. On Google, it's if they search in your local area. So I love to show up for sugar cookies near Woodbridge, Virginia. That is a bunch of people I've never met before. So I love getting people to funnel through there because they have to pass all my pricing to get to me. And then you have the option to actually just chat with them. It's a messaging feature. So you can message back and forth and it instantly sends me a text to my phone. So I can really get onto those leads super fast and usually convert them.
Yeah. So it is worth it. If you just think, well, I don't need one. You don't need to be successful, I guess.
I love building mine out. I have my products there.
How many pictures do you have on it?
1,400.
That's ridiculous.
I love just.
It should be a part of your weekly process.
I do it
marketing.
on Saturdays when I'm watching TV.
Yeah, because it's not such a social media marketing where you get likes and shares and stuff. People kind of put it on the back burner, but it's a great lead source.
React to a photo on there.
Oh, scary, right?
I was reacting to my own.
Yeah, Howard. Wow, whoever did
1,400 likes.
But yeah, I would say that there is no podcast on setting it up because it would be hard for me to walk people through that. But I really gave you most of what you need to know right now.
But if you're a visual learner like the Cookie College, it's your best bet. It's a video tutorial.
Speaking of, if you want to text in, it's 571-556-5644. You people who text in are floating us, man. Keep them coming. Ask us where that happy hour is. Ask us why I didn't get it done this week.
Tell me why Corrie is your favorite twin.
Tell me why Heather just is a cut above the rust. Tell us about the Cookie College.
The Cookie College is our
How can I find it?
You can find it at thecookiecollege.com.
What do I need to, where do I need to be in my business to benefit from this?
If you're a hobby baker, probably not for you. If you're thinking, I think I want to sell beyond my friends and my family, the Cookie College is for you. It's for people that are just beginning their business all the way to people who own brick and mortar. So there's something for you in there.
What if I'm in the Cookie Cloth Kits? Do I need the Cookie College?
The Cookie Class Kits is great. It's not how to market your class kits. It's just literally everything you need to teach a cookie class. So if you're like, I like the Cookie Class Kits framework, but no one's signing up, the Cookie College is the next step for you because it will tell you how you can market to get your name out there to get buns and seeds.
I'm sorry. Did you just casually steal framework from me and it's going to be your buzzword?
Framework is my new word.
Archer, we got to get the framework down here, buddy. If I sign up for the Cookie College, what about, do I not get the class kits?
Great question. The way the framework works.
The framework be working.
Is the Cookie College gets everything. So our Cookie Class Kits, the transfer templates, that's probably a billion in there by now. Better Business Basics Bureau, which is foundational for someone who's just starting out. You get everything, plus all of last year's Cookie Class
It
Kits
is truly the better bang for the butter bang for the buck. Because you get everything and it's all in the price of $76. Cancel anytime. If you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. Our little thanks for sticking with us. Yeah. But we make sure that new content is added all the time.
Yeah. So I am working on my sourdough class.
Yeah, Corey has a sourdough. Go ahead. I have everything.
I'm going to add a little bit more to it. It's intro to sourdough.
So you might be saying, is this sugar cookie marketing? Yeah, some people want to add sourdough. I think Corey has a class on Max.
I don't have a class on Max.
Oh, aren't you going to teach one?
Yeah, I want to do.
So when you want to zhuzh up your offerings, I know we talk about analysis, paralysis, and choice. But some people do like tacking on sourdough, and it's a great lead source.
To me, the way that sourdough works is you do a little thing in the morning. It sits all day while you make your sugar cookies, and then you do a little thing at night.
I'm going to say the garlic bread is ridiculous. That is out of this world delicious.
And that was a discard recipe. There's hardly any downtime. You got to wait maybe 2 hours.
Not clear what you're saying, but I like it.
Yeah. So that'll be something I'll add to it if you just want to get it. Taste test.
Corey did sourdough chocolate chip cookies and phenomenal.
He did.
That's right. Oh, sourdough discard chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, it's wild to call them discard.
I don't like the word discard because it's just dormant
starter.
It
sounds like
trash. Like I reached into the trash can and then created a chocolate chip cookie from that.
Yeah, it's literally what I would not use the word discard in your marketing.
Discard is just dormant starter. So I'm just saying they're
like sleepy starters on a good
sleepy starter. That means like it's so good you want to take a nap after it.
That's a great one. You will be sleepy starter. If you want to learn more about the Cookie College, you can go to thecookiecollege.com and you can see all 5 memberships we offer. Again, the Cookie College gets it all. It is popcorn price. We do what we say. It is the best bang for the buck. You get the most for the least when you add up. I think if you bought all the memberships separate of each other, you'd be at $182.
Yeah.
Now our rock for our EOS Level 10 Mastermind Framework is a template library. It'll be a la carte, which means you can say, oh, I have this very specific situation. I have this client I need to refund, blah, 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 blah. What should I say? Buy this template. The Cookie College will get that It'll get that template library framework.
Here's some of the template library frameworks that we are working on.
I actually made a list. I want to see if you have it.
Okay. Like have it in my brain.
Yeah, I don't think you have as detailed as I have.
Oh, for sure not.
Refunds, how to accept one, how to reject one, and how to compromise one.
Love that.
Reviews, how to ask, how to reply to a bad review, how to reply to a good review, how to reply to a star-only rating.
Yes.
Corporate, solicit a corporate partnership. Charity, how to solicit charitable donations and how to decline a charity request. I don't work for free yet. Download this template now. Classes, venue soliciting, class cancellation, class drip reminder, which actually are included in the class kits, the newsletter, your first email, your second email, and your third email to get you started.
Nice.
And we'll have a little bit more of the minutia, chasing payment because you didn't listen to us and you did half up front, half at pickup, things like that. So it'll be a template. I know people like how we kind of write and they're like, hey, how are you? How you doing? I'm not going to process that refund, but here's what else I can do for you. Like things like that.
But you can always take whatever we say and zhuzh it up in your own words.
Yeah, it's just a template.
Just a framework, you know.
Just a little framey that
There's work that's just been framed for you. So you can framework it.
Let me frame this up for you. The work's been done. So that will kind of drop. Our rock will drop end of Q2, I think at the beginning of Q3. And I want to have it ready for the Vendy Blendy.
Blender.
Don't use its government name. Do not call it by its government name. So that takes us through the cookie college. Now moving on to Splinces.
Splinces. First up is
the best boyfriend you'll ever have.
Best boyfriend, Eduardo. Eddie, my man. What you need to say in your post is my direct-to-food printer.
I'm sorry, people are harassing Primera, the company that makes Eddie, about Freddie. They had teased.
Yeah. They shouldn't have teased.
They had teased this machine that ices cookies for you. Essentially, they've optimized and streamlined corporate orders.
Is it coming out?
They said that they'll have it at an event later this year.
Oh, nice.
A demo. I wonder if they'll send us one.
I want twins.
I want a Freddie.
I wonder how big it would take.
You see Freddie on TikTok? That cat that's like a rag. It's like a. I watched. It's Freddie and the kid's name. I don't remember what the kid's name.
Yes,
was.
It's my cat.
It is so funny.
Yeah,
he's so
it's Bobby
cute.
and Freddie.
Oh yeah, I love you, Freddie.
So what is Eddie? He's the best boyfriend you ever have. He's a direct-to-food printer. So if you've ever worked with airbrushing in the past, what sprays out of the nozzle is edible food coloring that's been diluted, so it's sprayable. That is exactly what comes out of Eddie, except for Eddie looks like an actual printer. Like he has a print head that is.
I gave Corrie an Eddie print. I made the cutter myself. I made the graphic myself. Then I printed the matching cutter. Now she's going to print on this an image. Send it to me.
It's insane. So I have an Eddie order coming up next week for a Corpy order for two people's heads on it. The owners of the company and a logo. But I said, yeah, I can totally take it. It'll be printed. And they said, absolutely. So if you're trying to get into a corporate girly era, which is, let me tell you, start the framework now. Because corporate orders are great during Christmas.
If you frame now, you won't have to work so hard later.
Listen, the frame of Eddie works for corporate orders. It's a box frame. And it works by feeding your cookies inside. But corporate orders for Christmas are huge, but right now it'd be the time to print a few cookies,
plant them seeds,
bring them over there to the business, and really sweeten up the deal.
People in corporate offices love their logo on stuff. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I love to see my logo on things.
I got this pen in the mail. It was a singular pen, and on it was written a company name, and it got to me, and I was like, I can't. I'm frothing at it, but my hands are sweating. Give it to me, because you wanted their name on your pen. No, it was our name on a pen.
I was like, wow, okay.
It said framework on the pen. But yeah, I don't know. When you come to a business, when that technology, and again, you're not going to be like, I got an Eddie, I'm cheating on my husband. Like, you're going to be like, I got a direct-to-food printer. It's literally what it sounds like. You're printing on food, and I'm able to print your logo. Look, I made you a custom cookie front desk lady.
Even to say, like, I can take on last-minute orders because of my direct-to-food printer gives the option where I can take an order that would typically take me a week, and I can take it in 3 days.
Now is the time to test how Eddie works. Do you need to bag him? Do you need to tag him? Do you need a cornstarch him?
Everyone's recipe is a little different.
Yeah, and humidity.
Some more buttery, some less buttery, more watery.
Some more stale.
So what you need to do is you need to test Eddie, especially if he's in the box, which I know there's a lot of people listening who have an Eddie who's still in a box because it's overwhelming.
Don't put him in that framework. Take him
out of the framework and the box and do the little rock that we talked about and say, I'm going to take him out of the box.
That's a good one. So if your rock for quarter 2 is learn Eddie, your week task is unbox him.
Unbox him.
And also recycle that box. You don't need to keep that box.
You know, I got a new iPhone.
I know.
And I had the box.
I got the fraud alert.
I had to call him. I got the box. And everything my millennial body wanted to keep the box.
I can't not consider keeping the box.
When I put it in the trash can, I set it on top just in case I wanted to take it out. I had to do a...
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I get it. It's hard to get rid of boxes.
It is, but the Eddie box is ginormous. You're going to want to get rid of it.
You're going to get rid of it. If people are like, what if I need to ship back? I think you just keep them.
I think at that point you would put them in the back seat, buckle them up, and drive them up to Primera.
I think it's like in Michigan or something. Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. One of those ones that has the stays. Yeah, and moving on. So if you want to learn more about Primera and Eddie, I would go directly to their group. It's called Eddie Printer Users Group on Facebook, and you're going to be inspired.
You can ask all the questions. So you would say, is Eddie right for me? Is your question of the week. your solution
go
would be
over there.
ask it in the group.
That is a great place to break down that Eddie rock and say, okay, today I'm trying to learn how to do, I want to learn these trays. What are these trays? Which trays do you recommend? Things like that.
A lot of people ask, like, what computer do I need? I'm needing to upgrade my computer. I don't have an Eddie yet.
Not a Chromebook and not an iPad. You need a computer that can handle applications.
Yeah, but you can start building the framework to your Eddie now. Asking the right questions, getting the right stuff, so that when you unbox him, it's just a little less overwhelming.
Somebody reported a post in your community group for violence, but it's a lady looking for plus-size clothes recommendation.
I'm going to say then that was an accident.
She even tagged the rule she thinks it violated.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to, with prejudice, click keep.
Keep it. Next up, we love Royal Batch.
We love Royal Batch. No.
Oh,
you had to give me the signal.
Okay.
We love Royal Batch. We love. You said two.
But then your eyes said no.
My eyes said surely we're not
3 times.
We love Royal Batch. We love Royal Batch. We love Royal Batch. Good. We should do that. We should have a little meeting before we do jams.
Yeah, nothing more embarrassing than being on the bus at school. Royal Batch is the meringue powder that I use. If you're new to the world of royal icing is made up of 3 main ingredients: water, powdered sugar, and meringue powder. It's a powder. Your meringue powder, there's so many different ones on the market. Some you can buy in a store like Michael's or Joann's. Some you can order online like Royal Batch. It comes down to what you prefer. The reason why I prefer Royal Batch over the others is it does not separate as fast as other meringue powders. Weirdly, the ingredients in royal icing don't like each other. Sometimes when you set them out and you haven't used your icing, they want to separate. So you'll have a big old thing of colored powdered sugar at the bottom, your water on top. It's annoying because if you go to try to use something that has some separation, you can see it in your design. And only other bakers would know. When they scroll by, they'll be like, there's a little separation there.
Did you separate from your husband? Do
you have separation anxiety? Because I see it in your eyes.
You're not anxious about it. You're leaning into it.
But that can lead to things like color bleed when your icing separates because there's too much water content. So you want something that doesn't separate fast. And out of all the ones I've tried, which is most, Royal Batch is the slowest to separate.
Oh, nice.
It also has 3 main ingredients, key ingredients that people typically add to their royal icing mix.
So you're saving and save money.
You're saving it. So it already has vanilla flavoring in there. Tasty taste. You can taste it right out of the bowl. Lick it. Lick that spatchy. Number 2, it has corn syrup. Corn syrup gives royal icing a softer bite. Especially if you're doing a lot of layers of royal icing, you want it to have a softer bite so it doesn't break a tooth.
You say a softer bite so often that I think if I got dementia, one thing I'd remember is
to bite. To bite. Last but not least, it has white food coloring in it.
How else can we save more money?
You can save more money on that if those weren't enough by using code TWINS, TWINS.
Corey made us walk for an hour this morning. I did get a little turned around, and we ended up finding 3 stray cats.
One had the biggest primordial pouch you've ever did see.
There's this cat. He's not even a stray. I know where he lives. We called him out of his garage. But he walks in such a way that the primordial pooch counterbalances him.
It's
like his legs go left.
Are swaying, and his primordial is bringing him back.
Yeah. The way he comes with such a... like, he just
was insane. Either he had weight loss or a kitten at some point.
I love him. He's nice until he's not.
He's black as black. Has a little tuft of white.
Yeah. His meows were like...
They were barely anything. He was cutie patootie.
Then we got exceptionally sweaty.
We did. Then we found 2 strays. Didn't trust us.
They were like, get away from me.
It's okay, I wouldn't trust me either.
Your primordial porch away from me. I mean, listen, the primordial porch.
That's my porch all the
You're living on the porch. That we know. The one looked like he'd gotten finished with a fight 2 seconds earlier.
I know. Do you have a twin Terrest? Twin Terrest.
I went to Mount Vernon.
More interesting.
I went to Mount Vernon. No, don't go. Okay, the tour of Mount Vernon.
It's only fun when you're a child.
I don't think it was fun then.
It was
exceptionally unfun this time as an adult. It was okay to get on the grounds. I'm just telling you, flying blind here, looking at it. It was like $60.
$30
$30 per ticket.
$30?
$30 to get on the grounds. And so I'm like, okay, but I'm going to see the house
for centuries.
Georgie. Then it's $2 to tour the house. So what am I paying?
What's the $30 for? Was that parking?
No, parking was free, but it was not a lot of it left.
Was it free though?
I paid the price. One, the WNOD trail it walks through there. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the area, Northern Virginia. I don't know if you guys have ever been to hell, Northern Virginia. The WNOD trail is notorious for flashers. I'm sorry, but that's what it's known for.
The WNOD trail is no less than 50 million miles long.
Yeah, along it, though.
Along it, of course, you're going to have some crime. Okay.
There's crime. Crime is dry. It's a bike path that goes from Washington, D.C. to Leesburg.
I'm going to tell you something. It's ungodly long.
It's ungodly long.
It goes through the weirdest parts of Northern Virginia. It's got to bypass weird roads.
And weird people. Anyways, we walk the WNOD trail to get to they have to go in to say, how do I find the house? And they're like, well, you have to walk across the grounds. I paid $30 per person to walk to the house. The house.
What did you want, a golf cart over there?
I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. So I get
a balloon. Right?
It would have been nice. There was no balloon. So we get to the house. It's mostly closed. The $2 was being disrespectful to think that I was going to see anything. All we saw was the bed he croaked in. No offense to our forefather. He passed away. He should have risen from the grave and said, do not charge those people for this.
Was it typically a $10 charge to view the whole kitchen?
It wasn't. We didn't get a kitchen. We got the foyer.
Maybe you got the
upstairs.
Discount. $2. It would have been $10 for the whole shebang.
Anyways, I don't know if it wasn't. I was like piped up the stairs. They took out all. The framework is really nice. It's withstood the test of time. They're removing the air conditioning out of it because they want to bring it back to what George was suffering
But
through.
how about the people that are supposed to stand in there and tell you about
the guy had a fan blasting the back of his head. Even I was like, this is ridiculously hot.
I don't think Georgie had that though.
The guy brought their own fan.
George
was probably like, I founded this country so we could get some air conditioning. Let alone you guys taking it out. But that's why they found the cherries.
The cherries
hid in the basement because they're taking the ductwork out. Yeah, they're renovating. So most of these places,
cherry pits.
No, it was in a glass. You can Google it.
Like they've been.
Oh, they looked all of
canners.
I don't know what you're gonna get when you open it, but it was some old cherries. Yeah, no, it wasn't George Johnson that cut down the cherry tree. That was Lincoln, right? Yeah, he's a liar. He said, I can't tell a lie. I did cut down that tree. And I buried the cherries in Georgie's basement.
So your twin twists don't go to Mount Vernon.
But I saw his teeth.
Were they wooden?
No, they're teeth from other people in lead. It was in his mouth.
So he almost kind of wore a retainer of teeth?
I want to tell you how off-putting these teeth were. And they knew. I said, listen, one, that's why the grounds ticket was so long. It was this museum of all his spoons. And I was like, hey, listen, his spoon collection, collection is just phenomenal. But I'm looking for the teeth. They put it at the back of the museum. They knew that's what we were there for.
Okay.
Power walk to the teeth. I said, I don't really care about the spoons.
Were the teeth yellow?
They were gray.
Gray? Because they were dead teeth?
I don't know. He smiled at me. No wonder why his mouth was always closed.
Did he walk by someone and say, I like your front tooth. Guys, I want that one?
Maybe on the top teeth.
Or did they pick them off dead people?
I don't know. It wasn't good.
Am I a dentist? No. But I know that
I became a dentist when I saw that. And I said, this isn't good. Gray. This is not. But you understand the base of the teeth were put into lead. You can't eat lead. It doesn't escape the body.
I think
lead poisoning.
His teeth out to chew on something. A cherry, per se.
I don't think we can call it chewing. I think we can call it
suckling on a cherry.
Yeah, it was off-putting to say the least. He was on-putting. Excuse me, I would have thought about that. What's your twin twist? I'm a twin twist. If it's not a forefather, get out of my framework. You don't have anything interesting.
What's twin twist? What's what? Tell me what I've been up to. What have I been doing?
You have washed your shoes. That was what you talked about today. Folex.
Okay, guys, if you have some harsh stains
on shoes
or carpet.
Okay.
Any stain, really.
Oh.
Folex. Learned it in a community group. Someone said that is what professional carpet cleaners
Did you order it on the Zon?
I did it on the Zon.
Yeah.
That is when the guy came and cleaned my carpets.
Yes.
He said Folex is the way to go.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that's
Did you have to dilute it or did you even read the instructions?
I did not read the instructions.
Corey set up a Google My Business.
I just sprayed that on there and it really did make my stains.
Did you have to agitate?
Oh yeah, it comes with a little microfiber cloth.
That's not as shady as I thought.
But it got in there,
and then you put it in the washing machine.
This is after the wash. Any stains that made it out, you wash on cold so it doesn't set the stains in. And then I used some Folex, scrubbed it in there. Now that it's drying at home.
Air drying. What is the status of the shoe?
It looks so much better.
I love an old shoe that's been brought back to life. Yeah. You can squeeze some life out of shoes. Now, Corrie actually has the toe of Samson. I don't know what your toe's up to. Your big toe.
It's up to the skies.
Corrie walks with her toes pointing up.
I even have to.
If you ask her, give me a thumbs up. The toes will respond.
I can give you a thumbs up with my toe. It's the strongest part of my body.
It cuts through each of her shoes. She has a hole on the top of each shoe.
Where your toe and my toenails. You're like, cut your toenails. They're as short can be. They're short, but that toe being straight up.
Why?
Not one shoe manufacturer has tested the strength of the top.
The top of a toe box. Yeah, they're reinforcing the front. Corey's stepping her toe in the air.
The On Clouds, though, I got waterproof ones. So it has a piece of rubber where my toe goes up to keep that sucker.
That's it, man. You're trying to keep the toe down.
Keep that curve.
Toe says, you can't hold me back.
We were taking a walk today, and I was wearing these new shoes. Got a blisty. But it's like almost like cloth-like on top.
We could see the toe. The toe. Corrie wasn't walking. She was clawing forward.
You could see the outline of my grippy feet holding onto the shoe.
I gotta say, what's going on down there, bud?
I don't know. I think if something fails on me first, it'll be my feet. He'll be pushing me in a wheelchair. Like, Are
we going to end up together old?
I sent you a TikTok of the twins that
I saw
are neighbors.
They find the same outfit. I can do that with you.
They call each other every morning.
What Folex shoes are you using today?
My On Clouds.
I'll get my On Clouds. Do you have a hole in them?
Do we have any more mailbags?
Did you go get the mail?
No, I didn't.
Then we don't have anything.
Good thing you have a vehicle and you can get your own.
I went last time. And this is my thing. This is what I do. Like, hey, I'm here to pick up the mail for $2.45. And they're like, you have nothing. I said, yeah, I haven't been here in 5 years, so I'm sure there's something. And she's like, oh, you had so much. We actually put it in a package.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah.
Did we get a fine? Fined?
No.
No fines?
They've raised the price on us 1,000,000 times. I think they're probably like, these people hardly come
That's
here.
what I actually heard. People are like, the money is in getting those. If you go to open a UPS store.
Okay.
Getting packages, blah.
Yeah.
The money is in those
little I know. I'm floating that whole rent check.
Yeah.
That thing has gotten more. This is a funny thing. Like, what am I going to do? Tell him no?
Yeah.
So he was like, you had me coming and going. You had me by the collar, dude. I have to pay. So he was like, I'm going to give you a deal. Like, he must have expected a fight. And I was like, yeah, just pay the ransom. And he's like, well, I'll give you a couple months free. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Bada bing, bada boom.
They said that every UPS store is already pre-designed. So you only have so many of those boxes that you can put in there. That's why if you wanted to open your own one, don't do a UPS one. Do just a random one that you can make as many boxes as you want. So you make so much more than the UPS store franchises.
Yeah, the UPS store. The UPS store. It only has like a very small wall of that. Of course, the back of the box opens to the storage area. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's always stressful to go in there.
Whatever framework they got going on there is crazy.
I'm like, okay, they're like, bonus, you can come get your mail at night. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah, we have to pay for that key to be able to get in at night. Yeah, if you've ever been to that UPS store at night, half of it becomes locked.
Yeah, same.
And you can only access those little things.
Yeah.
But I had to pay I was like, I'll just get it in the daylight.
Yeah. We do not pay for a night key when we're not even doing the day key. We're not even doing days.
Daylight. We gotta cut them loose.